Here's the next box of baby wipes, and my grandson Jordan just joined me. Say hello, Jordan.
Hey. Ooh.
Okay, in here we got some tools, a union dividers, some kind of circle cutter, machinist clamps. I call them parallel clamps. I don't see, those aren't in very good shape. Another one.
Vise.
Here is a machinist vise.
That's nice.
This looks like one made, it's homemade or shop made, maybe a project from an apprenticeship or something like that.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thanks. A tap wrench.
Yep.
Craftsman. Here's the spur center that would go in the headstock if a fella was going to do some woodworking.
This is no use. A nail.
No, throw that out. Here's a cut-off blade, and throw that away, Jordan.
Alright.
And another piece of high speed, and that's about it for this little box. Alright, here's a hippie box straight out of the 70s, maybe the 60s even. Alright, this is really a turret tool attachment, and if you guys have been around turret lathe, you know that this is called a turn box. There are the rolls, a little stiff, and there's the cutting tool. Boyer Schultz was the major name in that turret tooling. That's a $400 tool right there if a fella had to buy it, but CNC machines have pretty much made that a thing of the past. Here's another tool holder, I guess, for the compound. No, this has a little slot there, or it goes into the slot on the that cross slide piece that I showed you. That's where that would be used. Here, I've seen these in the catalog. This is a Logan carriage stop, and it can be used on either side of the carriage, I think. No, I guess not. But two different stops. And that also would be for production work. I guess you could say three. There's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Carriage stops. That's nice. Yeah. That looks homemade there on the bottom.
Good find.
Yeah. Here's another piece of turret tooling. R&L tooling. I don't know what, maybe for a reamer or something. And not sure what this is unless I run across something else that it fits. Yet another carriage stop, but appears to be shop built. This may hit the scrap bin. There's no model number on these Logan lathes, so on the end of the bed, where I think every company puts the model number or serial number, whatever it is, it's 3720A. So I will look that up on the Logan site or on the internet and see what model this is and the size or what they call this particular machine. I bought this Logan lathe sight unseen, I told you, over Craigslist, and I've had no bad surprises yet. And as far as the condition of the ways, the bed right underneath the chuck, and that's the area where you usually see a lot of damage, but there's some minor nicks there. But overall, for the age, and this must be 50 or 60 years old, it is really excellent condition.
Excellent.
Excellent. I feel a little roughness there. And then one other thing I want to show you. Hold this light, Jordan. And I want to, right here, so it's, yeah, right there. I'll tell you one thing, that this lathe did not come out of a high school, because I've never seen one in a high school that wasn't badly chewed up right here. So that's a treat to find out on the compound.
Well, might have been, it'd just be good kids.
Oh, Jordan said he just had good kids that year. Oh, you're an eternal optimist. And one other note here, this tool holder here is a horrible looking, cheap thing. It's a right hand, which I never use anyway. But this is made over the pond. It is not an Armstrong, it is not a Williams or a Craftsman or anything else, and that is a pouting disappointment, and that will go on my tool table at Midwest Tool Collectors, and And
one
yeah,
year.
it's made over the pond all right, and it's just nothing like the quality that we have come to expect. I interrupt the general theme of this video for an update. And by the way, that is a Minneapolis Moline U tractor for the few of you that might be interested. It's about 1952. I digress. This Logan lathe is serial number 3720A. I looked that up only to find out that actually it was sold by Montgomery Wards. It's a Powercraft, but it is made by Logan for Wards, and that was 1948. Now I was catching up on my reading, and I found this Wards Powercraft tool catalog, and that's from 1953 and 54. And this lathe is shown in there, even though it was built just a few years sooner, and I'm sure that they sold this machine for several years. So let's take a look at the original catalog listing. Now this is page 42 of the catalog I just showed you, and here is the lathe in question, and it's shown as a Powercraft 10-inch back-geared screw cutting lathe. And this is the one that I have. It's 24 inches between center, but they also sold it as a slightly larger model with a longer bed. I think it's 36 inches between centers, or 30 inches. And either one would accept the optional quick change gearbox. And the price on that lathe in 1953 was $319, and you could buy the legs and the chip pan as an option. $15 for the chip pan, and the legs were $25 for the pair. Quite reasonable. On the facing page, they sold, for those that had a little more money, the Logan 11-inch. And notice they didn't call it Powercraft on the side, they called it Logan. And a mouse had its way with this catalog some years ago. This has the more luxurious sheet metal base, and both of these are already equipped with the quick change gearbox and probably some other features as well. And there's quite a bit of text below it explaining all of that. Turning the page, there are two pages showing all the accessories available for the Wards and the Logan lathes, including tool post grinders and then the steady rest and some of the pieces that I have here in my shop now that came with this machine. They even had a bit of a milling attachment here that is quite different than the Palmgren. There's that Palmgren one that I showed you, and then here's the three different carriage stops, and I have all three. And different tool holders and face plates and dog plates and dogs, and they even show the little threading tool. I thought that some of you might be interested in this and what was available back then. And here is the taper attachment that I have, and I didn't realize till I looked at this catalog that mine is missing this major piece here that replaces the cross slide. So at this point mine is not usable. It's just a piece of scrap iron. Hope you enjoyed this little side trip, and now back to the rest of the video tour. Here we have a little pink one that has no lid on it, and in it is the peanut butter jar, and those are all 5/16 taps. A lot of them. I hope they're not all dull, but there's a load of them in there. What do we got there, Jordan?
Sharpening stone.
Oh, we got a Norton sharpening stone, and it's got that
Wedge.
that beveled, tapered type of stone. I like those.
Yeah.
Oh, here we got a 60-degree threading tool. That's a Craftsman, which means it'll work in any lathe, of course. And a lot of cutter left there, possibly never been used. Doesn't look like it's ever been ground or misground. A lot of them are destroyed by those who grind them. What else we got, Jordan?
Tool holder.
This is a stop for the cross slide, but it's homemade, and we got a dovetail there. That's homemade, not a bad job, but it's not great either for threading. We got a T-handle tap wrench there, Craftsman. I must have 50 of these. Another lathe dog. This is a little bit different design, the way that swings. There's some kind of homemade arbor, that's nothing. Here's a fly cutter, that's also homemade, possibly destined for the scrap bin. A V-block. Here's a bar with a center drill in it, homemade. And another lantern type tool post with 2 rings and no wedge. And that's it for the little pink box. Here we have another blue baby wipe box. Let's see what's in it. Take the lid off, Jordan. Alright. In there we have a boring bar holder, a tool holder on this side. I think that it looks homemade, pretty nice job, but I think it's homemade. Certainly don't see a trademark on it, but all of these items need a good cleaning up. Oh, and here's that nice Logan carriage stop, the micrometer stop. And this is the 3rd stop we found, but this no doubt will be my favorite. That's a nice one. And in here, we got 3 brass jaws. Now these will fit, I hope, the steady rest. Jordan, bring that other steady rest over. Yeah. This is the steady rest that came with it, and it's got rollers on it. Those might have been added, I'm not sure, but you can see that these brass jaws are going to fit. And then let me see the other side of it here. And
almost looks like
possibly if you take the rollers out, you can just use the these as a steady rest. So, or maybe not. I'm not sure. One of these looks kind of cobbled up. Take that, Jordan. And then in the bottom of the blue box, we've got a couple sets of lathe jaws. There's 3 for the little 5-inch chuck that is on the machine, and I'm not sure what these are for, if they fit anything.
Just bigger.
But it looks like somebody made some external jaws for them.
These are just huge.
And I hope they're the right. I'll probably take those external jaws off, those caps, and throw them away, and then see if these are the correct ones, if they have the right serial number on them for that. Okay, and that's it for that box. Here's the tailstock turret, and I've showed this in several other videos I already got. I think this is the 3rd one I've got. That's a number 2 Morse taper to go into the tailstock, and already equipped with 3 different tools, and I suppose this was a stop. And room for 2 more tools. And in the little wooden box we've got 5 threading dies, and I don't know why they devoted an expensive case to something like that. Those are hex shaped. What does it say on the front, Jordan? What brand? That's Ace brand. Well, we're down to 3 boxes. Open that one, Jordan, see what we got. Oh, wow.
Oh, jackpot!
We hit the jackpot. There's a ball bearing center, feels a little stiff, made by Ideal from Sycamore, Illinois. They made a nice line of accessories and tools a few years ago, and that apparently American made unless they rebranded it. Looks like it's had little use. And here's, I don't know, that looks homemade, maybe for the woodworking.
Yeah.
I might call it a cup center. There's a sleeve. That's an important part for these little lathes, that headstock sleeve. There is a crotch center. I don't know if I've talked much about crotch center, but but it looks like it might be a homemade one. Oh, and it does not have a Morse taper. I do have a Morse taper one. That would have to be held in a, well, it is, maybe it is a number 2. I guess it is. It is. Okay, I stand corrected. And another center that needs some
Work.
needs to be ground. That's not much. Strap. There's a good center, number 2.
Yeah, that's an awesome
That one, oh,
center.
that one's dull. Well, you'll see me do some grinding on these if you haven't already seen it on my others. There is a, you know, I've never seen one of these if it isn't homemade. A number 2 Morse taper with, well, you know what? I think that was some other kind of tool somebody ground down and turned into a center. I guess it's nothing. These are tap holders. Morse taper. There's a sleeve, number 1 to number 2. Here's another spur center for woodworking, number 2 Morse taper. And another number 2 dead center. Quite a few centers. All right, 2 boxes left. All right, Jordan, get that baby fresh open. I don't like these cheap little boxes. I'm surprised. All right, we got more centers here. Well, there's no shortage of centers, is there?
No.
Another Morse taper, and this is a arbor for one of those drill chucks. I hope that's the right size.
Me too.
A countersink, another sleeve. Oh, and a half center. I love half centers, and you've seen those in some of my videos. I love a half center in the tailstock. Not quite as good as a ball bearing center, but it really is great for threading. That's it on that box. All right, this is the very last box. Open it up. It says end mills on the cover, but we'll see what it is. Looks like there's all kinds of stuff in there. Here's a reamer. Oh, a 3/8.
Ooh.
Looks in good shape. Morse brand. Big old die. 11/16, 11.
A lot of chuck keys.
All kinds of chuck keys. Pull those out of there, Jordan.
3. I see 3 so far.
And then, oh, we got a lot of end mills. And you know what, you people, don't criticize me for dumping these out and letting them rub against each other. That's the way I bought them, you know. And some are still in tubes, and that's the way they should be kept. Well, that's a tap. And no, and that is new.
That's brand new.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
And we got, you know, several others here, and I will go through all these and throw out any dull ones. Throw out dull ones. Do not keep dull tools unless you have the ability to sharpen them. They will only plague you every time you go to use them. So that's the last of it. I thank you people out there for sharing our excitement with this new acquisition, this new Logan lathe, and thanks Jordan for helping me sort through this stuff. Yes. And I've gone through all of it here, and expect to see this Logan lathe in future videos. And this is Tubalcain saying so long for now. And Jordan?
See ya.